What's up, YouTube? Glenn and Jack, we're back with another season of Best Bets of the NFL Weekend videos. If you guys are familiar with our channel, it's what we're going our fourth year now, fourth season now, um, where we've been making these videos, trying to do it every week. We're the last couple years we've been a lot better, um, to where every week we try to come out with each of our best three bets of the NFL weekend. Um, Jack's been red hot in this series. Over the 3 years, he's got a combined record of 92, 70, and 5. Um, First year was something spectacular. The other 2 years, both above 500 as well. I don't have the stats of my records. I do know that I think every year I finished below 500. Last year, just barely. It'd be great to have a good year this year. But Jack, as always, great to have you back. How you feeling going into this NFL season?
Feel good, baby. I always say it, but nothing better than football season, especially the NFL, from my perspective. Um, and I love doing these videos every week, and I could chop it up about the Bears 24/7 if you wanted to, but I really love this portion of this kind of banter we've been having for the past few years now, giving out some picks each week. Take a good amount of pride in it, and excited to get back on the wagon and hopefully have a good year. Like you said, I've pretty solid record over the course of time, but a lot of that has definitely been weighted in that first year when it was just uh, out of control how good it was. Tough to replicate, but past couple years still reasonable enough. Hopefully, I can fall somewhere around that 57% range this season.
Yep. Let's both try to finish this year above 55% if we can. And let's get started with a good week one. How's this board treating your eye? How's it suiting your eye this week?
It's tough. A lot of variables coming into week one. Um, you know, Everyone's hungry. It's a new season. Everyone's out there. It's got Super Bowl aspirations, regardless of what we think. Everyone in every locker room is ready to go. It's a new season. They're treating it as such, and you never know what could happen in this league. It's the best league in the world, in my opinion, as far as parity goes. So everyone comes out hungry. They're going to be ready to get after it. It's not easy to handicap early on, as we talked about in the past. It feels like you used to kind of know who teams were come about October, mid October. Now, with the extra week, it seems like you're getting like past Halloween, creeping into November. Some teams really start to turn it on. I mean, I think of the struggles the Chiefs had last year, still end up being your Super Bowl champ. Bills kind of down in the dumps, end up still being a great team. Eagles looking like they're potentially going to be world beaters and go right back to the Super Bowl. They kind of fall off a cliff. It's a long season now, man. It really is. I know it's only one extra game, but it makes a big difference in a game like football. And yeah, it's week one's tough, but I definitely have three. I feel good about. It's a lot better looking at 16 different games opposed to
Yes,
when you get down the stretch of the playoffs and you only got three or four options to really sort through. When that board
for
tightens
sure.
up, it gets tough. So yeah, it's a lot of variables, like I said, but definitely feel solid about the start, and we'll see how it goes. I think last year I kicked off 0-3, so I
Yeah, if
can't
I remember
compare.
right, the fact that you finished like kind of comfortably above 500 was really impressive after I think like your first 4 weeks like you had 3 weeks that were sub 500 or something like that, if I remember correctly. So you really did a good job crawling back last year. But um, I also I love seeing that many games out there. I definitely had 4 or 5 that jumped out to me, that spoke to me. So I felt okay zeroing in on three this week. With that being said, let's get into our first picks. You want to go first with your first pick of the week?
Say it again. Sorry, you cut out for a
Yeah,
second
you
there.
want to go? You want us to get us started with your first pick of the week?
Yeah, I can go first. That's fine. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take. It's actually um, not what I love to do, as you probably know better than anyone else. Really, over the course of time, I don't really love picking primetime games. I very rarely pick Monday night games. And Sunday night, I guess occasionally, but still on the rare side of things. This one isn't necessarily a primetime game, but it is the game of the week on Fox, if I'm not mistaken. So it will be a big national spot. I'm going to take the Browns minus 2.5 at home against the Cowboys. I've loved this game from the second I saw it. Dallas is a good football team, has proven to be so over the course of the past couple of years under Mike McCarthy's reign. They're an excellent regular season team. If I'm not mistaken, I think they've gotten 12 wins in each of the last two regular seasons. That's some excellent football. Credit to them. Playoffs, obviously a different story, but they're getting it done. This year, I don't know. I don't know about the Cowboys. They got a lot going on, a lot of contract disputes. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb just signed. Dak Prescott's kind of waiting on his contract, but being a good company man, getting out there. And Micah Parsons, there's some questions going on with his extension. What's going to happen there? I just think the team is in a little bit of flux with some of the comments Jerry Jones has made. I know he's always speaking out of his ass, sort of. That's kind of his thing as an outlandish owner. But I think Mike McCarthy is pretty well known. He's on the hot seat. Dan Quinn out of the picture as far as the defensive coordinator. Don't know what that operation is going to look like. I think Kevin Stefanski, coach of the year last year in this league, he's got a quarterback healthy. We don't need to get into people's thoughts on Deshaun Watson, but they're going to be a better team with him healthy than they were with Joe Flacco off the couch. It's just the bottom line. At least I would imagine that's the case. That defense is stout at home. They have some insane away home splits defensively. But Schwartz is a solid coordinator. I think that defense is going to be strong. Myles Garrett coming off that defense player of the year. I think they're going to be rearing, ready to go. They know it's a big spot at home. I wouldn't be surprised if the public sees Cowboys getting points and sort of jumps on that, which also kind of plays into my liking of the Browns. But yeah, I like the Browns minus 2.5. I actually got it at even money. I played it a couple days ago. So that's my first play of the season.
Love it. I like where your head's at with a lot of that. I will say, Cleveland defense last year, first half of the season, first maybe 2/3 of the season, best defense in football. That last third of the season, they kind of started falling off. Be interested to see if their defense has a nice comeback this year, and gets closer to that number one defense in the NFL form. But I like that spot. I like them at home. It is kind of a at first glance, seeing the Cowboys getting points in the regular season to a Browns team that is solid, but they're not like world beaters. It's a little bit perplexing. So yeah, I understand why you like it even that much more. So okay, I like that first pick. My first pick of the week. If you guys watched our conference preview videos, one of the teams I am low on this year is the Atlanta Falcons, despite the hype nationally with them picking up Kirk Cousins and making some moves over there. I'm on the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 3.5 at Atlanta. I just think I like Arthur Smith going back down there. It looks like Russ might play, might not. I don't care either way. I think that Atlanta defense is suspect. I think Pittsburgh goes in there, keeps it within a field goal. I'll take that extra hook. Pittsburgh plus 3.5 at Atlanta. That's my first pick of the week.
This guy he won't fucking quit, man. It's unbelievable. You know what? Honestly, whatever. I don't hate the pick at all. I think that the Steelers catching points in any situation over the course of Mike Tomlin's tenure, I don't know what their record is off the top of my head, but I'd imagine it's pretty solid. I mean, they've had some good teams, so not a lot. A lot of times they are catching that type of points, but yeah, I think Atlanta's unproven. Fresh coaching staff, fresh quarterback coming off the Achilles. They got a lot of moving parts, a lot of unknowns. Steelers, obviously new quarterback as well, but outside of that, they kind of return the same operation that's found success when they don't necessarily have the talent to match it. So yeah, I could banter about how you riding the Steelers is fair play, but yeah, I don't dislike that pick at all. Moving on to my second pick, I'm going to take a team that you were actually pretty high on last year. I don't know if you share those same sentiments quite as much this year, but I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks laying almost a touchdown. It's -6. They're at home against the Broncos. People are kind of like, one of the darlings of the preseason has been this Bo Nix development. I mean, he played a million college football games. I think he will be ready to go. I do love Sean Payton as a coach. I think that'll be interesting to watch over the course of time. But as far as this season goes and week one goes, still a rookie quarterback on a very bad roster. We kind of talked about it in our Bears video. Like, Caleb Williams and this rookie stat about a rookie #1 overall pick hasn't won a game in however long and blah, blah, blah. It's because of the situations that rookie quarterbacks are typically coming into, let alone the #1 overall pick is typically coming into. Um, the Broncos are a very bad football team. They really are. They decimated their roster with what they did with the Russ Wilson move. Clearly, it didn't work out. I think they're kind of playing behind the 8 ball. It's going to take a little time to rebuild. I'm confident that they will. Truly, I would have a lot of faith in Sean Payton as like a Broncos fan for the long term. But this year, next year, develop Bo Nix. But I think you're going to be losing a lot of football games. And I think Seattle is better than a lot of people think. I don't know. I'm interested to see what it looks like. Obviously, they have a new coach and Mike McDonald as well. But I don't know. I like Seattle to absolutely roll at home. 6 seems like a lot of points for a team that people aren't super high on, and I think Seattle sort of blows the brakes off.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. If I had to pick a side, I'd be on that side as well. I was, how do I phrase this? Last year, I was high on Seattle, no doubt about it. This year, maybe off it a little bit, but it's almost more just because of like question marks. There's nothing that makes me like doubt them so much. And maybe changing guards at coach is going to be a good thing for them. Mike McDonald McDonald is his name. He'll be bringing some new energy to that team for sure. That Pete Carroll, he was a great coach for them, great tenure there. It's probably time for a new face. I I like the Seahawks this year. I'm not in any like future plays or anything like that, but it wouldn't surprise me if they challenge for that second spot in the NFC West. As for this weekend, I like that spot against Denver, as you said. Rookie quarterback in Denver, kind of a media darling this preseason because he's looked all right. But I think Denver
He's looked great.
Yeah,
Like truly.
yeah, but it is also still preseason and stuff. So he goes to Seattle. They'll have the first team out there. They'll be throwing some shit at him. Stuff will actually matter. I like Seattle -6. I like where your head's at there. My second pick of the week. It's a gross one. It's so gross. I'm just hoping they could keep it within a touchdown. I'm going the New England Patriots +8.5 at Cincinnati. It's ugly. Cincinnati should be one of the better teams in the league. New England should be one of the lesser teams in the league. But it's week one. Maybe Cincinnati starts out a little slow. Maybe New England's got a little dose of the Arizona Cardinals from last year where they just come out, guns blazing, thinking that they're not as bad as they are. And they find a way to keep it close. Talking about it now, I kind of hate it, but I'm going to stick with it. New England Patriots +8.5 at Cincinnati. That's my second pick of the week.
I mean, you got the biggest balls in America riding this Patriots squad week one. But honestly, I don't totally hate the pick. I think I don't, I don't pay for any of the sites to really like know the true public money or anything like that. I know you can kind of find people on, certain sites and social media shit that are like claiming they're giving it out, but I think it's all just a little bit of hot air, to be frank. So I don't know where it's at, but I would imagine that the public's going to be heavy on Cincinnati. Joe Burrow coming back. Everyone thinks and knows that the Patriots are probably going to be the worst team in the NFL this year. So yeah, 8.5 it's a good amount of points in this league. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, certainly ballsy to be riding a team that I think might win like 2 games.
Maybe they'll get a little backdoor cover or something. You never know.
Hey, that's all it takes, baby. That's all that matters. Good teams win, great teams cover. Everybody knows that. My last pick of the week, I'm actually going ugly as well. Ugly as sin. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to bring myself to watch this fucking game, but I'm going to take the Washington Commanders on the road against the Tampa Bay Bucks. They're catching 3.5. It's a little tight for me, which makes me think they're going to cover. The Bucks were a good team last year. Obviously, made some noise in the playoffs, getting a playoff win. Baker Mayfield sort of revitalized his career, and I don't know. I think they still have some positive things about them. I just don't know what they're going to look like with their offensive coordinator stepping out the door, going to I believe he went to division rival in Carolina. But anyway, I think the team's going to be a little different this year. I'm not the biggest Todd Bowles guy, never really have been. I think he only got another head coaching opportunity because of his relationship with Bruce Arians. And Bruce Arians kind of, as he was stepping out the door, it was like, seemed like it was like part of his demands. Like, hey, Todd Bowles is going to replace me. So good on him for looking out for his boy. But I'm not a big Todd Bowles guy. I just don't see how that team does very well. I think Canellis was a big part of the success that they had, and especially speaking to Baker Mayfield's revitalization. Mike Evans continues to be a dog. He's 1,000 yards year in and year out, probably a surefire Hall of Famer at this point. But I don't know. I think people are really low on Washington. Jaden Daniels, who the hell knows truly? But I like the Dan Quinn hire. I think he's proven to be a pretty solid coach. Did a great job with Dallas's defense. Obviously, he's always going to have the stink of the 28-3 Super Bowl collapse, but did some solid things in Atlanta to get them to that point, sort of build that team up from where they were prior to his arrival. I don't know. I just think that I think Washington could be a little bit better than people might think. And I think 3.5 seems tight this week. I'm looking for them to cover.
I'm interested to see this Washington defense, man. They still got Jonathan Allen. They still got Theron Payne. They brought in a number, journeymen, maybe like a step up from journeymen, like defensive players that at one point were like kind of household names and stuff. They I'll be interested to see the defense. It wouldn't shock me if the defense was good this year. Wouldn't shock me if the defense was just like a hodgepodge of kind of has-beens too. So I'll just be interested to see what that defense is. Only thing that scares me about that line at all is rookie quarterback plus 3.5. Not a ton of wiggle room there, but I like where your head's at for sure.
And honestly, that's part of the reason.
Yeah, because it is so tight.
Exactly. I mean, at this point, you kind of know how I operate. I feel like, and I don't know. It's like if it was Bucks -6,
right?
I'd probably like either stay away from the game or take the Bucks. I just don't know why. It seems a little too close.
I feel you. My last game of the week. Jack's afraid of Monday Night Football games. I'm not. I'm going to go back to the over-unders that treated me pretty well last year and anybody that tailed me. I'm going to go the under on the Monday Night Football game. It's at 43.5. It's Jets at San Francisco. Aaron Rodgers against the San Francisco offense that has quite a few playmakers. But I think both those coaching staffs and both those operations are going to both want to control the football if they can. And I think this number goes under 43.5. That's my third pick of the week. It's an over/under. Last year, for those who don't know, that was the one thing I was pretty good at. I was under 500 for sure, picking a side. Over/unders, I don't remember the exact number, but I was probably like 10-4 or something like that. So San Francisco, New York Jets, under 43.5. That's my third pick of the week. Any thoughts on that, Jack?
If one, yes, you were the over/under king. I feel like I'm the opposite. I mean, I definitely only typically do like 3 or 4 unders over the course of the entire season. It's just not my cup of tea.
Right.
But yeah, you've had some great success with it, so you should keep riding that. Especially you did a lot of like really strong like team over/unders, first half unders. Like you got creative with it and had found some success. As far as that game in particular goes, little side side banter. I had like a standing bet on the Monday night over last year, just kind of like
Yeah.
uh, as a joke, and it went under like 9 straight weeks before it finally hit the over. I was just steady losing $100 every single Monday night, just like it was pure jokes, man. But yeah, it's interesting those games go under. But yeah, I don't disagree with the thought that this one does as well, because I do think it's a big national spot. It's a sexy Monday night game. And you know how people love to juice the overs, and everyone's going to be watching those big tickets. They're going to be hoping for a lot of points. And yeah, it's a couple good defenses. Nick Bosa is my pick for defensive player of the year. So yeah, I don't have anything. I would take the under if I was playing the side of that. So.
Right on. Right on. All right. Well, just to recap, Jack is on Cleveland -2.5 at home versus the Dallas Cowboys. Seattle -6 at home versus the Denver Broncos. And Washington Commanders +3.5 at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I am on the Pittsburgh Steelers +3.5 at Atlanta. The New England Patriots +8.5 at Cincinnati. And the under on the Monday Night Football game of 43.5 in the New York Jets versus San Francisco. Let's get out to a good start, man. Football's back. It's here. I think it's about to kick off, probably a series in or so right now. So we're going to go ahead and turn on that Thursday Night Football game. Go Eagles tomorrow. Fuck the Packers. And any last words for the fans before we get back to them next week, Jake?
No, man, feels good to be back. Like I said, I love doing this, so appreciate anyone who ever tunes in. Truly, it's a blast doing this shit with you. So I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, it's seriously the best part of the week. So, like and subscribe if you're new. Interact if you're a veteran here, and get involved in the chat. And until next time, Jack, hit it for him.
Bears.